Hello, welcome to the Villages, Florida. My name is David. I'm a realtor with Florida Realty Investments, and every week I take a look at the real estate market here in the Villages. If you want to know what the long-term trends are on prices, price per square foot, how many homes are selling, if you want to get a perspective on the differences between the different regions of the Villages, I've divided it into 4 geographic areas. This is the show for you if you want to be informed. We're going to look at long-term charts. We're going to look at current data. Everything is fresh as of today, Monday, the 29th of July. A couple of things to note. The Villages has 2 distinct marketplaces, the VLS and the MLS. The MLS is the same market that you'd be familiar with from other areas of the country, the multiple listing service. The Villages has its own internal marketplace, and on the VLS is the only place where you will find new properties listed, but pre-owned homes are both on the MLS and the VLS. And if you only have a VLS broker or you only have an MLS broker, you will not be seeing everything for sale here. All of this information is drawn from the MLS, not from the VLS. We produce this show every week. Make sure you check the date to ensure you're getting the most recent information. Also, if you find this information valuable, please consider liking or subscribing to the channel. It really helps us with the YouTube algorithm. And if you need to reach me, you can reach me either at DavidisinFlorida.com or DavidisinFlorida@gmail.com. If you're a buyer and you're trying to find a good deal, I think you'll find our data-driven approach will give you confidence that you are getting a good deal. And if you're a seller, I hope that you find our data-driven approach will give you confidence that the asking price you've chosen is the correct one. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at what's happening this week. We start every week by taking a look at the yield on the US 10-year note. The 30-year mortgage rate most closely tracks this yield, usually about 3 percentage points higher. So by following this rate, we can get a good idea as to what mortgage rates are doing. We have not moved much in rates over the last several months, currently around 4.25% on the 10-year. It's obviously hard to tell which direction rates will move from here, but my suspicion is higher. So now let's take a look at the Villages. I'm going to start by orienting you, for those who don't know, as to where the Villages is. It's located in Central Florida, about an hour north of Orlando. And the map that you're looking at is showing you all active MLS listings. The size of the circle represents the size of the home, and the color of the circle represents its price per square foot. We're going to continue zooming in until we get to the Lake Sumter area, and then I'm going to switch back and forth between the price per square foot map and the price map. And you can see that looking at it on a price per square foot basis, it's much more apparent where a potential deal might be. Please contact us if you want to see how we can use this tool to your benefit. Here's a brief example to illustrate how easy this tool is to use. Here the map is showing you the size of the home and the year it was built. So the darker the circle, the older the home, and the brighter the circle, the more recently it was constructed. So using this tool, you could narrow your search in even on properties of a specific age. So let me give you an idea as to how I've broken the Villages up geographically. I've divided it into 4 regions. The north, which is everything south of 42 and north of 466, which includes Spanish Springs. The second area I'm calling the mid-north, which is everything south of 466 and north of 466A. This includes Lake Sumter. The third area is the area south of 466A and north of 44. This includes Brownwood Town Square. And the fourth area is the area that I'm calling the south, which is everything south of 44. And we're going to take a look at the differences between these regions as we go forward. But let's start with listings. We're going to get an idea as to the number of listings on a long-term basis. You can see that this week there are 455 active listings. Last week, 462. A year ago, only 229. Currently, in the Villages, prices range from $142,000 to just under $3 million. And you can see the trend line showing you the number of listings on a long-term basis. But I've also included this chart just to get an idea as to the trend line for the last year. And you can see that over the last year, the trend line is still higher, although for the last 3 months or so, the number of listings has remained fairly constant. Here we look at the median listing price per square foot for all MLS listings. This week, $259.80 a foot. Last week, $259.43. Last year, $258.61. This is the median time on the market for all listings. This week, 60 days. Last week, 60 days. A year ago, the same week, 59 days. We are at the highest end of the range here. Let's take another look at all listings. Here we're looking at the total number of listings for the villages as a whole, numbering 462. The smallest home, 875 square feet. The largest, 4,216 square feet. Price per square foot in the villages ranges from $138 to $789 a square foot. The two graphs you see on the left shows you how many properties are available at each price, and on the right, how many properties are available at each size. Let's quickly look at the individual regions of the village to see how they compare. This is the north, smallest home there, 875 square feet, largest 3,986 square feet. Price per square foot in the north ranges from $138 a square foot to $448 a square foot. This is the mid-north, 137 active listings, ranging in price from $265,000 to $1,295,000. Price per square foot ranges from 197 to 634 square feet, and the sizes of the homes range from 1,100 to 4,200 square feet. This is the Mid-South, 50 active listings, ranging in size from 1,156 to 3,875 square feet, ranging in price per square foot from $210 to $789 a square foot. And this is the South, 66 active listings. Sizes range from 961 square feet to 2,069 square feet. Price per square foot ranging from $230 to $428 a square foot. It's interesting to note the difference between the number of listings in these regions. Now let's take a look at something that we think indicates pressure or lack thereof in a market. This graph shows you the number of properties that are entering and leaving the market every week. Properties entering are new listings, properties leaving are properties going pending. Obviously, if new listings exceed homes going pending, that means that inventory will grow. And if there are more homes going pending than being newly listed, then inventory will shrink. This week, 34 new listings. Last week, 33. Last year, same week, 29. Pending home sales this week, 43. Last week, 37. Last year, 42. The red line on the graph represents new listings, and the black line represents homes going pending. And that graph gives rise to this one, which is the difference between new listings and homes going pending. This week, a positive 9, more homes went pending than were listed. Last week, a positive 4, more homes going pending than being listed. And last year, a positive 13. So let's take a look at the homes that went pending over the last 7 days. They went pending at a median 244.31 a square foot, up slightly from the 240.31 of the week before, but down dramatically from the 255.32 of last year. Here's a graph that seems to be showing some signs of stress for sellers. Over the last 7 days, the price change from the original list price for the homes that went pending was a reduction of 6.29%. The previous week, it was 5.23%, and a year ago, it was only 5.8%. Before we discuss the homes that closed last week, let's just take one more look at the differences between the regions of the villages. You're looking at how many homes are available at each price per square foot for the villages as a whole on the right, and for each of the regions of the villages on the left. And this is the price distribution, how many homes are available at each price point, both for the villages as a whole on the right and for the individual regions of the villages on the left. So now let's look at sales. These are the homes that closed last week. They're numbered 26. The previous week had 29 sales close. The previous year had 39. Prices for the homes that closed last week ranged from 170,000, which was an 8% reduction from 185-ish. And the highest priced home that closed last week was $1,195,000, which was the same price at which it was originally listed. Here we get some idea as to seasonality. We're comparing 2024 against 2023 and 2022. The red line is 2024 number of sales per week. Green line is 2023 and blue line is 2022. The last 7 days saw 26 homes close. A year ago, 39. 2 years ago, 29. Looking at this graph, it seems clear that through the remainder of the year, we should expect activity to continually decrease. Here we're looking at a long-term chart showing us the price realized for the homes that closed every week. Last 7 days, homes closed at a median 236 a foot, down from 252 a foot the previous week, and down from the 248 of the same week a year ago. I adjusted the graph to show us only the last year. You can see that prices have been basically flat for the entirety of the year. We've started keeping this graph measuring weeks of inventory, which is inventory over sales. This week, 17 and a half weeks. Last week, almost 16 weeks. A year ago, less than 8. Keep in mind that as sales decrease, the weeks of inventory will increase. So now let's look at all listings again, and this time we're looking at how many have reduced their asking price from the original list price. This week, a big jump from 51.3 to 53.19. Last year, 56.5% of listings had reduced their asking price. But there is some encouraging news for sellers. The percentage of decrease seems to be improving. This week, the median decrease is less than 4.1%. Last week, it was almost 4.2. A year ago, it was closer to 5. That is this week's look at the Villages real estate market. If you're a buyer and you're trying to find a good deal in the Villages, please reach out to me at DavidisinFlorida, either at gmail.com or DavidisinFlorida.com. Or if you're a seller and you're trying to maximize your return and want to have some confidence that you've priced the home at a level at which it will sell in a reasonable period of time, please reach out to me, DavidisinFlorida.com, DavidisinFlorida at gmail.com. Be happy to answer any questions about life in Florida or life in the Villages. I hope to hear from you. Take care.